Hey guys, this is Jack from Team Empire, and today I am covering the new Dark States cards. We have 5 to talk about for D-Booster Set 11, Clash of the Heroes. So the first 3 are going to be generic order support for the nation, like Stoicheia and Keter Sanctuary had gotten, and the last 2 are Kheios support, including the new Kheios, which I'm really excited about. Without any further ado, let's get talking about it. The first card we have is a Grade 1, Famed Harsh Demonic Lordling Batham, who has the effect continuous on Rearguard Circle. If you played a normal order during this turn, this unit gets plus 5k power. And then auto, when placed on Rearguard Circle, costs Counterblast 1, search your deck for or drop zone for up to 1 reception of the Famed Demonic Mansion, reveal it, add it to your hand, and if you search your deck, you shuffle your deck. So overall, it's very similar to the other 2 cards, more similar to the Keter Sanctuary one, that has basically the exact same effect to where it gets 5k power if you play in an order, and then you can counterblast 1 to search your deck for a very specific normal order, which is good. You know, it's alright. The CB cost is a little heavy, especially since a lot of Dark States decks do use CB, but who knows, maybe this will see play in something like Greedon. The next one we have is Reception of the Famed Demonic Mansion, which is a normal order. Grade 2, it says you may soul charge 1. Choose one of your units, and until end of turn, it gets plus 5k power. At the end of the turn, discard a card, add 1 Reception of the Famed Demonic Mansion from your drop zone to your hand. So, this is like a one-of order that you can play in the deck that can immediately grab itself back from the drop at the end phase, which is pretty nice, I think. It's not like the most amazing, incredible thing I'd ever seen, but it's still pretty nice. It's a lot better than the Keter Sanctuary one, I feel like, because that one was a Soul Blast one to give 2 things plus 5k. This one is a Soul Charge one to give 1 of your units 5k, which actually helps a couple Dark States decks. Maybe if you're struggling with space in your Dark States decks, you can actually play like the Grade 1 and this card like as a one-of in your deck, just to fill up space, maybe have something that Soul Charges a little bit more. But since a lot of Dark States decks use normal orders, I feel like this won't see as much play. But rounding off the generic order support is the triple rare, the generic triple rare for the set, Famed Blazing Demonic Lady Oriens, who has the effect auto when this unit is placed on a Rearguard Circle other than by your unit card's ability. If you played a normal order during this turn, cost Soul Blast 1, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card with a grade equal to or lower than your Vanguard's grade from among them, reveal it, call it to Rearguard Circle if it's a unit card, add it to your hand if it's a normal order, and shuffle your deck. Then, auto Rearguard Circle, when this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, costs Soul Blast 3, draw a card, and this unit gets plus 5k power until end of turn. So, the first effect is the exact same as the Keter Sanctuary one, that also just looks at top 5 and calls 1, which is really good skill generically. And I feel like that skill is better in Dark States than it is in Keter, since Dark States has 3 mask decks. So if you have this, when you play this, after you play your Mask of Hedrogrum, you basically get to search for even more combo pieces. Maybe more Desire Devils for Greedon, maybe Kit's Peak, Gungram, or more critical pieces, critical grabbing pieces for Unica, or your Restanders for Drejuled. Really great. Kheios also has 2 normal orders that it tends to play. So if you play that and you play this, you can search your deck for even more pieces, maybe by Soul Blasting an extra copy of a card you have in Soul. Or for Lukier too, since Lukier does play normal orders, it plays her normal order from her soul, you can just use this to Soul Blast 1 to look for even more cards to call, or maybe search for an extra copy of that order. So I think that first effect is really nice generically and will only get better the more normal orders we get for the nation. And then that second effect's pretty good too. Auto Rearguard Circle when it attacks a grade 3 or greater. I mean, that's very similar to Combine Rusher. Soul Blast 3 may seem like a lot, but for certain decks, I actually don't think it's that bad. Again, for Kheios, if you have excess copies of cards in your soul, you can just Soul Blast them to draw a card and get some power. But I think the best deck this has application for is Greedon Masks, because Greedon Masks only needs 3 or more Desire Devils in the soul to activate its effect. So the rest of the cards in the soul are going to be pretty useless, since he doesn't really care how many cards you have in your soul anymore. So you can use this card to just Soul Blast those, draw a card, and then get some power. So this is overall a very nice card. I really like it. Also, the art is just peak. Speaking of peak art, we have Inciting Corruption Agamanov, which is the Chaos support. It looks so cool. But as the effect, auto, when placed in a record circle, if you have a Vanguard with Chaos in its card name, costs counterblast 1, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card from among them, add it to your hand, and put the remaining cards into your soul. Then, auto from Soul, when your unit with Mikani in its card name is placed on a record circle, if you have a Vanguard with Chaos in its card name, cost, discard a card, soul charge 1, call this card from your soul to record circle, and until end of turn, this unit gets boost. So I think this is an amazing card for Chaos, a great double rare. That first effect is really great, especially since it can be used on grade 2. Since it doesn't care if you have a grade 3 or greater, it just says if you have a Chaos Vanguard. So you can immediately start to get some advantage and start to get some cards into your soul that you might need later on. And the second effect works insanely well with the first effect, because then when it calls itself out by discarding a card, not only soul charge, but you can activate the first effect again to counterblast 1, like basically draw a card and then put a card from your hand into the soul, which is really great. Overall, not much to say about this one. It's just a really, really good card for Chaos. Definitely as maybe even a 2 of, honestly. But more than likely just a 1 of. Like, that's the thing about Chaos, that's relatively cheap to build, since you just need like 1 or 2 ofs. But we have the new triple rare, the new form of Chaos, which is Soul Oratorio Chaos, who has the effect auto. When this unit is placed by riding from Approaching Fang's Chaos, you may soul charge 3. Then choose 2 cards from your soul, add 1 of them to your hand, and call the remaining card to record circle, then activate Persona Ride. Then has the other ability Act Vanguard Circle once per turn. If your soul has 13 or more cards with different names, cost bind 1 Approaching Fang's Chaos from your soul, and until end of turn, all of your units get power plus 10k, and this unit gets critical plus 1. At the end of that turn, ride the card bound for this cost as rest. And of course he has glitter. So that first effect is very similar to Thagrea and Roa, where they give you a really good effect, while also counting as Persona Ride if they ride on the originals, which is good. That's really great. Chaos's effect is kind of crazy too, like Roa was. You immediately soul charge 3, and you don't have to, you says you may, which is great for late game. But then you can choose 2 cards, add 1 of them to your hand, and call the remaining. So you can call a Mikani from the soul, probably is what you want to call, and then you can add like a PG, over trigger, combo piece to your hand. Just really great. Or you can just choose two Mikanis and just add 1 to hand, call the other one, then just call the one from your hand. Really great. And then that second ability is everything that Lupe and I wanted from Chaos since we share the deck. We were talking about what we wanted with this card, and one of the main problems with Chaos is that Chaos's attack himself was very non-threatening. It was normally like 13 to 23 Persona Ride turns, or 38 with like a booster behind him. But now he actually gives himself 10k along with the other rear guards, and he gives himself a crit. So not only do you have 2 Mikanis which are restanding, but you also have a Vanguard with a crit. So 5 attacks, great pressure. And another thing that I personally like about this skill is that it's an act skill. It no longer has to be when he attacks. This solves 2 issues. The first issue is that when Mikanis were to attack, they were always pretty weak. Like, one of the things that's so great about restanders in Vanguard is when you can give them power before they restand, because then it's like you're double dipping on that power increase. That's what made Bruce so good in set 2, because you had your Helldive Full Blast giving 10k to your front row, you swing with those, and then use Bruce to restand them while they still had the plus 10. Mikani never really got to take advantage of that power boost, because he always swung with like 13 to 23, and then he restands with 23 to 33. But now with this, you're giving power to them first, so they'll be 33, 33, and then when they restand, they'll be 33, 33, without any boosters or without any triggers, which is really strong. And the second thing I like about this is even better for late game, because when you get to like 2 cards in your deck, you're at a bit of a crossroads here, because you can't actually get your insane amounts of power without attacking with Chaos, so you'll just lose the game. But now with this, it actually kind of mitigates that issue to an extent, because you can just activate the skill, power up your rear guards, and hopefully those attacks will be big enough to finish off the opponent. That's a very niche case, but it's still a case that can be made for why this card is so good. So overall, I think the Chaos support is great. Like I said, Chaos has always kind of had good support. He's always gotten really great support. but it's just the problem that Kheios himself was kind of underwhelming. But now with this new powerful Kheios, I think the deck's going to be really, really strong going into set 11. But with that being said, let me know what y'all think about the 3 new generic cards for Dark States. I think that triple rare is really strong. I think it will be really good for certain decks like Lukier, Kheios, and Greedon. And let me know what you think about the Kheios support, because I am super excited to play test Kheios in set 11. It's going to be super fun. But don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.